Hey everybody, it's Gauntlet X, and welcome back to another Alchemy Premier Draft of Bloomburrow. Without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one. We do have a very cool, very fun Alchemy card here, but it's a multicolored rare. It ties you into one specific two-color archetype, and it's competing with one of the strongest rares in the format. Innkeeper's Talent sits there making your board bigger every single turn, protecting your cards with counters and doing even more on level 3. As much as I do want to play with the new alchemy hotness, these new cards and stuff, I don't think I can justify taking the Flame Weaver over such an insane monocolored rare as Innkeeper's Talent. So we'll start with our generic main set rare for this draft. And for pick 2, there's Season of the Bold. Little bit finicky. You have to be able to cast this and then a bunch of other spells in the next turn to make it really, really good. Get that big damage trigger. But it has done some blowouts. I guess we could try to hop onto the green-black train here so that we can play this alchemy card, Tasteful Offering. You get a food token that lets you seek a non-land card when you sack it, so draw a guaranteed non-land, and the next food token you sack also draws you a non-land card. So it seems solid for a green-black squirrel deck because they're all about making a lot of food and foraging them and stuff, so probably not right to take it over Season of the Bold, but since I did grab the non-alchemy card last pack, I do kind of want to give extra weight towards the alchemy one this time, so we can actually distinguish this a little bit from our regular drafts of the format. I'll take the Tasteful Offering here. Pick number 3, here's a Bushy Bodyguard. That is a great card for the green-black squirrels deck. If I was omnipotent here, we would have had a sick Lizards deck, though. We'd have the Lizard Alchemy Rare into the Mythic Red Season, into the Fireglass Mentor. Player on our left is living the dream. This is the easy pivot to Lizards and be super happy. But it's a great start for Squirrels, too. Innkeeper's Talent is an insane rare. Tasteful Offering works great with foraging, and Bushy Bodyguard is one of the best forage cards. Pick number 4, speaking of good foragers, Curious Forager and Corpseberry Cultivator are both very solid. I'm going to go for the Curious Forager. Less opportunities to pick that up as it is an uncommon. The rest of the cards are pretty weak. Bunch of filler commons mostly. Pick number 5, there's that Corpseberry Cultivator, but it's competing with excellent removal from Nocturnal Hunger, so we're going to have to take that here. Pick number 6, Dire Sight is fine card draw. I might just take Fountain Port over that. Makes your mana base a little weaker on average, but it gives you an excellent mana sink for any game that goes long. If you run out of stuff to do, you just dump all your mana into the Fountain Port. Yeah, I'll take that. It's also more gems for the collection if I've got my full play set, and I do. That's 20 free gems, baby. Pick number 7, pretty weak pack. Wow, except the very late Hired Claw. We are passing an absolute monstrosity of a Lizard deck here. Although I do think this is strong enough that it's still good in like green-red. Because if you play it turn 1, it's pretty busted. It's basically attacking as a 2-2 before you even put a counter on it, because you're dealing 1 whenever it attacks. Yeah, no, that's just good in green-red, too. So it could go either way if we get pushed off of one of these two colors. Pivoting onto red-black Lizards at this point would be incredibly rude. And pack 2, we would not get anything because we passed so many Lizards in pack 1. But if we get past a bunch of Lizards through pack 1, then we know pack 3, when we're getting passed from the same players, we'll get a bunch of Lizards there again. It's just that we actually completely ruin the player on our left today if we do that. It's super rude. And probably not ideal, because we know that pack 2 is not going to give us Lizards, because that player's definitely scooping them up. Choose one to exile it. If 7 or more rats are in your grave, seek a rat card. Oh, 7 more cards are in your grave, seek a rat card. So if you have Threshold, this card's really good. And if not, it's just okay. 1 for 1 targeted discard. I'd rather grab the Glide Dive Duo, which is great in any black deck. Another card towards squirrels, but if red looks insanely open, which take out the trash plus Emberheart Challenger's kind of leaning that way, then we're open to green-red or red-black here. Oh no. Am I really? Pick 10 Flame Cash Gecko and take out the trash. Red is so open. And again, this could be the pivot to green red. This doesn't mean we're ruining the Lizard players' day. Like, they 100%, like, we know they took the rares. And with the cards they got passed, it's 100% correct for them to hop on the Lizard train. So us cutting them in pack 3 if we pivot to Lizards is just so rude. Like, they will have drafted correctly and then ended up with getting cut out of their strategy. But hey, gotta do what you gotta do. It's hostile out here. If I'm getting pick 10 Flame Cash Geckos, I don't care too much that there's another Lizard player. Yeah, there's a distinct possibility we're gonna end up in Lizards. Which is kind of sad for us because we chose the green rare over the Lizard rare, but it's more sad for the player that took those signals and hopped onto the Lizard deck. Oh my god. Who designed this? What is wrong with you? What were you thinking? 2 mana, 2/1, flying lifelink. And now you're going to randomly draw into a free Sanguine Bond that draws you a card when you play it? So I mean, you just immediately draw the next card in your deck anyway? What the heck? What the heck? You know what I'm saying? We could take a Lizard, but like this is an Alchemy rare and it's broken. Could also take good removal, but that is stupid. That is a stupid, stupid card. Pick 2, Wix Patrol, great black spell. I mean, now that we took the black rare, I'm pretty confident we're Rakdos. And we're the villains of the draft pod. We are just putting a wrench in everybody's strategies and the signals and everything. Of like, this draft is not gonna go the way that the signals look like it's gonna go. That's on me. That's my fault. I like this card a lot, even if I'm not a Mice deck. It's a 3 mana 2/2 draw card. Just target it with your Might of the Meek. I'm going to take this over the Assault. Pick 4. Yep, this is the pack that we are, again, getting passed from that player that we passed all the good Lizards to. So we're not going to get a lot of action for this deck out of this pack. This could just be the rare drafting pack. Honestly, there's not a lot of action for green-black either here. It's awkward. I guess Moonrise Cleric is fun with our Soothsayer thing. If we get our Sanguine Bond drawn, then this drains our opponent for life as well. It's pretty cool. Pretty cute. We could also be the absolute villains of the draft pod and just rare draft this thing and cut the green-white rabbit player off of a good card. Just because this is so filler. I've decided. I'm just going to be absolutely evil today. Pick 5. Conduct Electricity, probably. There's no good green-black squirrel cards either. That's the weird thing, is that the pivot is somehow kind of working for us, but it also just looks like both of our decks would be getting cut this pack, sort of. Probably on Coruscation Mage, flexible at the mana curve, and it finds chip damage. Heartfire Hero. Take some combat tricks to go with that. Later, hopefully. So we already have the Emberheart Challenger, really want some combat tricks. Get some Scales of Shale, that'd be great. Might of the Meek works fine. And I've got the Meadow Guard for another Might of the Meek. Cool. 4 2-drops, I could probably take Wick. Very few other rats, I probably won't get too many more, but a 4 mana 2/4 that comes with a 1/1 is fine. And it's not impossible that we can sack the Snail and draw a card. We have a Fountain Port. Any other treasure production could potentially show up. Pick 9, get the Assaults. I've got 1 removal spell right now, so I will take the filler removal. Another Might of the Meek looks good. We got good Valiant cards. Valley Rally is fine. Probably cutting the Angler is one of the first cuts. I wish I saw this draft pod coming. If we just started on Red Black Lizards and stuck there. Wow, this deck would have been insane. Took the more flexible card, the one that's good in any green deck, and got punished. But our day is not as bad as the Lizard drafter at this pod, who is now going to start getting punished for drafting the objectively correct most open color pair. Cinder Cone Smite. 1 mana, 2 damage to a creature, or Downwind Ambusher. Finish off a creature, clear out a 1/1. Just a great enter the battlefield effect, and this alchemy card is not that interesting, so grab the Downwind Ambusher. Here's a double Lizard rare. Let's go. Gets a bunch of ping damage just by playing lands. It's a great card. I am taking it over a Fell. That's slightly sad, but I can take some more mediocre removal to fill out the deck. 3 pick 3. I like Scales of Shale a lot in this deck with all our Valiant triggers and a decent Lizard count. Pack 3 pick 4. Here's another Lizard to make Scales of Shale a little cheaper on average, and we've got triple Valiant combat tricks right now already. Splash in the Indris. That's just a really fun card. Conjure a Lightning Bolt with Storm into your deck. It's like, alright, you know it's in there somewhere. Get ready for me to top deck a Lightning Bolt with Storm. Lightning Bolt with Storm is just an insane win condition in Brawl. This would be a really fun card for Brawl. Although, I think it would probably get pretty repetitive because there's a lot of ways to search your library for an instant or sorcery and put it into your hand. So in Brawl, like, you just know your opponent's going to get the Lightning Bolt and kill you with it the turn after they play that every time. Probably kind of annoying in Brawl, but cool nonetheless. I forgot what I took there already. Is that the Assassin pack? Probably. Cutthroat's good. What is this? 3 mana, 2/2 flyer. When it enters exile, non-land permanent mana value 3 or less. When it leaves, they seek a card that shares a type. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, you exile one of their cheap permanents, and then when this card dies, they don't even get the card back on board. They get an equivalent card to their hand. So they still have to spend the mana on recasting it. Although, because you're exiling something that costs 3 or less, they could end up seeking something that costs a lot more. So they could get a bigger card out of it eventually. Still seems pretty good. Still seems pretty good. All right, I'm going to drop the Assault. 16 creatures. We don't have a lot of permanents to sack for this Tasteful Offering, so I'm probably cutting that if we find more playables. And then cutting a Soothsayer if we find more playables. Yeah, those look like the next 2 cuts. Tried to cut Valley Rally, not a Gate Assault. There we go. Pick 7. I don't think Kindle Spark Duo is that good. I don't think I would cut Soothsayer for it, but I would probably cut Tasteful Offering with the way our deck looks for that. Okay, this is easy. Cut Kindle Spark Duo for Glide Dive Duo now. And then cut Soothsayer for Assaults. And cut a land for a creature if we find one more creature, and that's a deck. Although, is Angler better than Starlit Soothsayer and Kindle Spark Duo? I think so. It's got a little cycling combat trick theme going on. The double red that early in the game's a little rough on the mana base. Yeah, maybe a flyer's just fine. We're gonna draft this Alchemy uncommon I definitely don't have a playset of yet. Another Might of the Meek. Makes the Angler better. That could be our 24th non-land. Yeah, sure. We'll do this 16 lands. Call it a deck there. We get to hop right into the gameplay this time. All right, well, this is a spicy hand. Mono Red Prowess, the deck here. Ooh, with the Meadow Guard too? Play that turn 3 and get the Might of the Meek for the challenger. Till end of turn, you may play the card. Okay, so I don't get to play it if I don't have the mana up for it. Okay, that's fine. Both of these get +1/+1 counters as I cast spells now. Could be sick. I want to have both of them on board before I cast any spells, so we play the Angler first. And then Meadow Guard, Might of the Meek, the Meadow Guard. Playful Shove my face. Is the mono red mirror? Nope, they're red-green. Alright. I don't think I'm attacking at all. It's Meadow Guard with a million copies of Might of the Meek. And pass. Do I pass? They have a burn on Meadow Guard, that'd be pretty bad, but I feel like Arena would have held if they did. Cool. Yeah, I have so many Might of the Meeks here, I kind of need to just dump them out and get the counters on the board. And the best way to do that is doing one during my turn for the Valiant trigger and one during their turn for the second Valiant trigger. This is fun. This is a neat. This is the most unique stuff our deck's doing, and it is really doing it this game. Tree Guard Duo, that is a big attack. We'll take the damage here. But then we'll have a big counter attack with our double beefy boys. Bolt and Might of the Meek here. Just straight up win combat. Sure. This is gross. All spice all day. Yeah, I'm like, no world where they can block, right? I still just cast this. Because I have nothing else to do with this mana. Boom! Oh, I drew something else to do with the mana that I wouldn't have drawn if I didn't cast it anyway. The rest of this hand is really good at closing out the game, by the way. 3 flying threats, 2 of which drain our opponent for life the second they hit the battlefield. I'm down to 13. That's not good, but I'm feeling favored. Ooh, Flamecaller Duo is a lot of damage. Ooh, and expend 4? Alright. Back to being a little scared. Back to being a little bit scared here. It would be scary for them to attack, though, because then they're dead to a removal spell. Bold moves! Bold moves from our opponent. Well, I don't have the removal spell, so they're alive. They have to chump block, though. I guess they can block Meadow Guard and trade, because this is a 4/3 with its ability. Play a Soothsayer and an Ambusher. Get Ambusher to make sure that Flamecolor's gone. Yeah, that feels good. Oh, they're just going to chump anyway. Alright. I could still Ambusher. But it literally doesn't do anything on ETB anyway. I'll do it next turn defensively. By next turn, I mean during their turn. Take out the trash on the Soothsayer. Discard a card, draw a card. 2 mana up, 4 damage on board if they equip. And we're at 8. And this is all without the Downwind Ambusher. With the Ambusher, we're even safer. Yeah, they're just going to go for the free equip here. But they have to hold off on blocks to not die. And then they just die to a Glide Dive duo entering the battlefield anyway. They could attack to send a message, I guess. That would just be conceding pretty much. Alright. We'll just drop the Glide Dive duo pre-combat because they're tapped out anyway. And then they know it's lethal. And that is 1-0 heading into game number 2. Ooh, we went from the mono-red prowess deck to the mono-black aggro. Sure thing. With at least 3 castable spells, I'm cool with mono-colored hands. Got plenty of time to hit the red source before we want to cast Rabid Gnaw in the first place. Our opponent is on a mold 6, and we top deck a 2-drop out of red that we really want to play turn 2, so that is the kind of card that I would not keep a mono-black opener with. But when you top deck it off the mono-black opener, what you can do. Play around Sonar Strike, Scale to Shale, Favor, all that stuff. Solid Cutthroat play from our opponent. Got the Ambusher coming up next turn. And then Fountain Port turn 5. Can save our thing. This might be too much too fast, though. Because they're curving out. 2-drop, 3-drop. Maybe a 4-drop as well. So they're curving out on the play, but we just have 2-drop into 4-drop on the draw. Which can fall behind quick. Wow, alright. Swamp 5 before Mountain 1. It do be like that sometimes. I think you just throw 1 removal spell at Assassin and I can't really afford to scales it or anything. Oh god, that is even worse for me. They send one of these things into the sky permanently, alongside the swan that's also in the sky. Yep. And they did 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop me. Oh, they waited till the end step though, so they messed it up. The Assassin doesn't come back till their end step now. If they did that, if they put a stop during my main phase, they could have done that when I was moving from main phase 2 to the end step, so their card comes back then. It's weird Arena makes you put a stop there like that. Alright, now I get to get blown out by their combat trick, because I can't really afford to make any other play here. At 13 life, taking 7. So let's get blown out, shall we? Whee! Probably scales here. But yeah, again, I don't block, and I'm at like 8 and never recovering. Okay. That's actually not as bad as me as scales would be. But it's not good. It's not much better. And there you go. The draws are red spells. That is game. It's 1-1 heading into game 3. Alright, here we are for game number 3 with a beautiful hand. We're on the play with a turn 1 creature to chip in to play the Flamecash Gecko with damage dealt and have 3 creatures on board on our opponent's turn 2. That is wildly aggressive. We've got tons of combat tricks in the deck we can draw to go with this Heartfire hero for big damage output. I'm just going to keep that pressure on, right? We're going to Nocturnal Hunger the Port Mage. To send the whole team in for 5. Oh god, what is this alchemy nonsense? They gotta think twice into their graveyard when they play it, or any other rat. And they can think twice for 3 draw a card. Pretty good. Alright, well, my 1/3 does not attack into that. My Gecko does. It's actually a really good card, because even if you just play it and trade off, you're up a card when you cast that think twice later. I probably should have used Gecko pre-combat there in case I top decked the combat trick, discarding this swamp, but I am really tempted to hold on to the swamp, because then I play it as land 5 next turn. One more land draw from there gets me Wix Patrol, which is a large creature, a large threat. Also clears a little path. Okay, now they just hold all their mana up, so hopefully they're just going to think twice here and not have like a counter spell. If I attack in trying to downwind Ambusher and it gets countered, that's going to be devastating, so I don't think we plan to Ambusher with their mana up here. Okay, cool. They're just going to think twice. I could cast it right now while they're tapped out, but I'm going to cast it during their end step, and then if they do have like a counter spell on it, then they don't have one for Wix Patrol if I hit the land. Okay, cool. Come on out, Ambusher. They have tapped themselves out. And that's land 6. Beautiful, and that should pretty much just be game then. Yep, and there's the concession from our opponent. That is 2-1 heading into game 4. All right, here we are on the play for game 4. We've got the Meadow Guard into the Cutthroat if it manages to get damage in, and it does threaten to be a 3/2 trampler on the attack, because they're going to know about our combat tricks, so they might just let it in, and then we get that Cutthroat down. Now I've got an Angler I want to play before I cast any spells too. Could be a little awkward, because we want to draw a 3rd red source to play Angler and Might of the Meek turn 4. So we go Meadow Guard into Cutthroat into Angler, Might of the Meek. Kind of a difficult curve if we're banking on that. I guess if they put stuff on board where the Meadow Guard can't damage them, yeah, like that. If I can't damage them anyway, then we just play Tempest Angler. Because then Cutthroat's just a 3/2 regardless. Could double Might of the Meek. Well, let's do that once an Angler's down. Could send a message. Oh no, they have the Builder's Talent playset a Carrot Cake deck. Builder's Talent is excellent if you can get all the Carrot Cakes in your draft pod. You're getting counters every time you play the Carrot Cakes, and you can reanimate them on level 3. Wait, did they not get the counter? Oh, they did. They put it on Warren Guard. Sure. I wonder what I'm doing. I don't like having to double Might of the Meek this Meadow Guard to kill that, because then I miss a bonus Valiant that could be had later, but it is what it is. We need to break that out of the way. Ooh, Coruscation Mage nonsense. The Might of the Meeks is fun too. And our land for turn. Unfortunately not a red source. I would just play a 2/2 mage if I could there. Banishing Light, Tempest Angler. Rough. It's also another Builder's Talent, +1/+1 counter. That is very good. That is not very good. Rakdos, so there's literally no way to interact with this builder's talent nonsense. Oh boy. Assault and hold up a Might of the Meek. We're just fully defensive now. They're stuck on 3 lands. This might be fine. There's the scry from our opponent. Alright, they can't attack in here, which is nice. Stuck on mana enough to have to just do this to draw the card. Land. Beautiful. Actually, that doesn't even let me double spell like I thought it would. Now I'm just dying to a flyer. Anything I can do about that? Not really, but I can start attacking in at least. Because I can just play a Wick and I've got blockers for all the ground troops. If they get more non-land permanents, they're just going to start loading up counters onto the flyer. So Wick should be more than enough for blocks. If they don't block, though, maybe we play the 4-3 Cutthroat. And the Coruscation Mage or the 4-3 Cutthroat and the Hired Claw. If they do block, we can do nasty things with Ambusher. Yeah, I guess we're just not on Wick either way. Because if we hit, Cutthroat's just bigger. No offspring for the mage. Baker's Bane Duo has arrived. That is a food token for a +1/+1 counter. The flyer is now 2 power. We're on a very quick clock here in the sky. We've got some removal that can save us here still. Only spent 1 all game, right? That is not that. Ambusher and Hired Claw, or Wick and Hired Claw. I guess since I can Hired Claw either way, we play it pre-combat for the extra 1 damage. So if Ambusher is going to find a good trick, we'll cast it, and if it's not, we'll cast Wick. Looks like it's not going to find any tricks. Here's Wick. They're down to 12 after eating the food. It might be slightly closer than it looks, but we're still definitely losing because they just need to hit us twice in the sky. Oh, they might have the +3/+3 trick and we're just dead immediately. Yeah. Is what it is. I'm getting really tired of dying to flyers in this format, though. That's how our first alchemy draft went. It looks like it might be how our third is starting to go. Alright, game number 5. Back to mono red. A lot of monocolored hands. We've been mono red, we've been mono black, and here we are mono red again. We got some gecko nonsense going on here to give us at least one of these black spells. 3-tree mascot. Well, shoot. Alright, Might of the Meek changes that. Cool. Do I still do it for Valiant here? If I hit a 2-drop, I cast it? Because if I Flame Cash Gecko, I guess I get to use that 2 mana to discard something, draw a card. Yeah, that's fine. Discard the 5-drop black spell, draw a card here. Towards the black source. Well, a 3-drop black spell is a little bit better than a 5-drop black spell, but it is still an off-color card. Blarb. Well, I know what I'm doing with my first black mana now. Gecko can't send in, but Challenger can. This can play lands, right? Yes, it can. So we definitely need to just do it to try to find the land. The swamp specifically. Even if it doesn't find the swamp, it gets us a card closer. Finds Might of the Meek. So that I can only cast that till the end of the turn anyway, right? Yeah, so I might as well double up. Get more damage in and potentially exile. Oh wait, no, the Valiant trigger doesn't trigger. Yeah, but I still needed to do that to draw another card. Okay, and then I can Flame Cash Gecko, another black spell towards the swamp. So I guess casting that Might of the Meek held me off of Cutthroat. So maybe wasn't worth it. Big Glarb attack. I can Assault Glarb no matter what. I don't have good attacks next turn, but just Assault Glarb pass looks fine. Maybe even don't discard a card for that reason. Because these spells are good when we find the right mana. I might actually use Gecko this time. This is getting real bad. I guess if we end up using Gecko, it was better to Gecko first. And discard a black spell, and if I draw a swamp, play the swamp instead of the mountain for the turn. But I already played land for turn at this point. So I can just do it at instant speed. At 10 life, I definitely have to keep Vine Lasher. Maybe I get rid of Ambusher then. Because Cutthroat is my only castable spell when we don't find the black source, so I don't think I can get rid of that. And Vine Lasher threatens to kill them off of just playing lands eventually, which is a big deal. Because these blue-green decks can play some really long, really grindy games. It might take them long enough to kill us that we just play 5 more lands. Or we find some other chip damage. Our Coruscation Mage or something. Yeah, I'm gonna say goodbye to Ambusher. There's the black source. Vine Lasher, Cutthroat. No damage dealt this turn, sadly. That Long River Lurker is going to get them 3 damage in, and then they get to untap the Tree Guard duo, but the re-ETB effect doesn't really do anything here. Just untaps it as a blocker. Sticky Tongue Sentinel. That is super threatening. That can pick up the Long River Lurker for an unblockable attack every turn, or it can pick up the Tree Guard duo for a really big vigilant attack. I feel like they probably pick up the Lurker, cast it, attack with Sentinel for 3, flicker the Sentinel, that then picks up the Lurker again. They can hit me for 3 every turn, 4 turns in a row, and that can be their path to victory. Luckily, we have the Nocturnal Hunger to not die to that in the end, but it's still very threatening. They're down to 8. I have the Nocturnal Hunger here. Can make a fish with Fountain Port and Nocturnal Hunger as well. If I hunger right now, I can hunger the Sticky Tongue Sentinel so that their Long River Lurker combo is not going to be a thing. And we can attack with the Menace as well for quite a bit. I guess I only really break through for a couple, and then I lose both of my pingers, the Vine Lasher and the Offspring. I think I just pass here, but I'm not that far from attacks. Maybe I get some fish tokens. Uh-oh. Okay. Mist Breath Elder is super, super bad for me. Picks up one of their creatures every single turn. So I guess I need to Nocturnal Hunger the Lurker then? Let the Sticky Tongue Sentinel hit me here. Oh boy. Because otherwise, like, Elder can keep picking up the Lurker too. They could have a Tree Guard duo and a Long River Lurker in hand and shoot me for 1,000,000. Yeah, we just need to get rid of their unblockability, and then we can do some chumps until we hit enough lands to kill them. With fish tokens, we can chump and then sack and draw a card at the same time. So it's like pick up Tree Guard duo now, pick up Long River Lurker during their upkeep. Or the other way around, either way works. Pick up Clifftop Lookout is strange, because they could have like an unblockable 12 power attacker otherwise. But sure. I guess that they can recast like right now for value. It's probably the play. Yeah, they just want to instantly recast. They don't want to get got by Nocturnal Hunger style tricks. That's fair enough. Ward 1. So I'd only have 2 mana up after doing this. I wouldn't be able to make the fish and Nocturnal Hunger right now, so I guess I make the fish first, or I make the treasure. So I don't have to shoot myself for that. But no, the fish, because then I chump and sack later. Hired Claw. Ooh, a chump attack with a lizard gets a ping now. Ping, ping. This is my Nocturnal mana, and then the rest is saved to chump with a fish and sack it. So I can't put a counter on Hired Claw right now. Yeah, I gotta get rid of the Lurker. Because unblockability is just gonna be lethal. 6. They're at 5 if I declare an attack because of the hired claw. So they're at 5. Double block that. 1, 2. 6 blockers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They go to 4 and then just kill me. Yeah, we can't attack. Even with menace. Their pet is very loud, very staticky. Alright. Pick up the Tree Guard duo, recast the Tree Guard duo, we get ready for our chumps. If they have a trample trick at any point or an unblockable trick at any point, we're going to die, which is why we got rid of their other potential unblockable trick. Okay. Alright. Chump, draw a card time. Or get trample tricked and we can move on to the next draft. Yeah, I mean, Overprotect is lethal no matter what we do. It doesn't technically kill us if I block with pretty much my whole board, but then they kill my whole board without losing anything. Alright, well, we did what we could. 2 and 3 is going to be the end result. Bit of a bummer, but that's balancing things out after that previous 7-0 here. Pretty fine with how we drafted here. I mean, as we saw during Pack 2, there was not a great green-black squirrels path for us, and that's where we were kind of headed from the start. So I think moving on to lizards was fair after the innkeeper's talent thing. It's just that, like, if I knew what we were opening and getting past throughout the draft preemptively, God, we could have had just an unbeatable lizards deck. And I'm sure whoever we were passing through definitely had a stronger lizards deck than us. This is still a pretty good one. Just hits a little bit of some rough matchups there. Got hit for a lot of flying, unblockable damage, stuff like that. Trample, lots of evasive damage sneaking in. And breaks us down to a 2 and 3 run here. That's going to be 250 gems in 2 packs. Pretty abysmal prizes. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for supporting the channel, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.